And right now we're in the Hollywood Hills.
Yes, we just drove down Hollywood Boulevard and we saw like the Walk of Fame and it was so cool. I'm finally the same height as you. Yay!
It only takes a rail and a balcony. That's all it takes.
Exactly.
A rail and a balcony. In a hotel in LA. In the middle of nowhere somewhere. Arizona, Utah, I don't know. But we're in the middle of some canyon. There's a river down. What's wrong with you?
There's something on my foot.
Something's biting Brittany's foot. She didn't bring any shoes, folks. She brought sandals to come to the We're in the Rockies. Rocky Mountains.
I didn't think about needing closed-toed shoes, okay? It is July.
We're grizzly
okay?
bears,
People wear
mountain
flip-flops in
lions.
July.
Alright, so we are currently, right now, driving on Route 66.
Historic Route 66.
Historic Route 66.
On this episode of On the Map, we learn some history at the South Carolina State Museum, show you some great places to take your kids, and enjoy dinner at the Marriott. But first, we get cultured at the Columbia Museum of Art.
Well, the museum has been around since 1950, and we were previously on Bull Street in Columbia, South Carolina, on the corner of Bull and Senate Streets on the USC campus. In 1998, we renovated an old Macy's department store building on Main Street and moved into this newly designed world-class museum space. We have over 7,000 pieces of art that span from ancient Rome to contemporary works. We've got ancient Asia, we've got European. We're actually standing in our 19th century European gallery, and behind us is one of our prize pieces, the Monet piece that we have that's on view right now. But this is one of our older pieces. It was a gift to the museum in 1964, and it is a wonderful piece by Claude Monet. It's called The Scene at Giverny. It was recently in a wonderful exhibition that was all about Monet's works on the Seine. A couple of years ago, we were looking to kind of find an education mascot at the museum, and we have named her Gladys, and she is French as the artist that did this piece. And we tell children that at night she comes alive and she hops around the galleries and looks over all the art. I love to see all of the faces that light up when they see art, particularly children and people that have, a lot of whom have never been to a museum before. Our community is a very diverse and rural community in South Carolina, and a lot of people aren't able to travel outside of a small radius in their own homes. So when they come here, they're able to get a glimpse of the world from within their own community. We've got some great pieces that were given to us by the Crest collection. That was one of the first things that really started our collection, was gifts from the Samuel H. Crest. And they gave a bunch of art out. He was a collector. He had a lot of dime stores. So if you go on Main Street, you'll see the Crest name up and down Main Street in Columbia. But he invested in a lot of art, mostly from Italy. And once he decided to distribute the art, he gave a lot to the National Gallery in Washington, D.C., and we're the second largest repository of that collection. That really is the fundamental basis, the foundation of the collection of the Columbia Museum of Art. But since that time, we collect a lot of different things that are from around the world. And like I said, we love to share them with people and to bring people here so that they can get a little glimpse about different parts of the world and different cultures. This is a Duncan Phyfe sofa. Not only do we have wonderful paintings and drawings and prints and pieces of art in that nature, we also have furniture and decorative art. So the Duncan Phyfe sofa was donated to us, and it was recently recovered in the last few years as it went up to New York for an exhibition at the Met on Duncan Phyfe sofas. So our education gallery is a place where families can come and relax. They can have children come in here of all ages, and there's some interactive things that we've gotten here. So it's really a place for families to kind of be able to come and unload and get comfortable in the museum. We typically have up students' works. It's typically K through 12 students. We do have some college exhibitions that we have in here as well. And then we've intermingled it with a little bit of our permanent collection as well. So we have a Beverly Buchanan house over here, and we've added an interactive component to it. So it asks questions here that you might have questions about. So it says, how old is the oldest piece in the collection? Ah, that was a question you had earlier. So let's see what the answer is. And Gladys says over 4,200 years old. Go see if you can find it in our permanent collection. So then it tells you to go and do something. What's great about this is I think that children really love to explore, and this is one way that gives them something concrete to go and do and explore. So they say, wow, it's 4,200 years old, let's go find it, and you can go around and try and find it. I also love attracting people to Columbia. I think Columbia is such a great place. I was born and raised here, I grew up here. I was able to move away for a little while and come back, and so I had a little bit more of experiences outside of Columbia. And when I moved back, I was able to see how great Columbia really is and everything that it has to offer. I mean, it's got culture, and it's got an easy way to live. It's got water places like the rivers and the lakes here. It's just a wonderful place to come live and visit. And being a part of the museum allows me an opportunity to share that with a lot more people. So attracting them here and seeing tourists come here and be like, gosh, I can't believe that Columbia has such an awesome collection, really makes me excited.
Mm-hmm. I understand. It makes you proud to be from Columbia.
Yes.
Okay, and we're here at the Edventure Children's Museum with Nikki, who's going to be giving us a tour. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good, we're excited to be here. Can you tell us a little bit about the museum before we get started?
Absolutely. So Edventure Children's Museum is celebrating its 12th birthday this year, and we are just really excited. We're one of the South's largest children's museums, and of course behind me you can see Eddie, who's the world's largest child, and we have about 92,000 square feet of exhibit space and place for children and families of all ages to experience the joys of learning. So it's really a neat and interesting place.
What can kids expect when they come here?
Well, the first thing that you'll probably see is Eddie. He is like the grand Pumbaa of children's museums, especially for here at Edventure. And when children walk in for the first time, they really gravitate to Eddie. It's the first thing you see, and you get really excited about that. Then there's a lot of other opportunities throughout the museum, like a cooking lab or a bioinvestigations lab or a library, the grocery store. So there's a lot of opportunities for kids and families to interact and engage with one another. So this is Eddie. This is actually the back side of Eddie. And when you walk in through the front door, you would never know that there's actual experience for Eddie on the back of him. So in here, you could start from the brain and go all the way through his body function. Inside, you might find a couple of surprises, and I think one of you should actually go in there and see what actually happens inside Eddie. He makes all types of noises, and you can see what Eddie ate for the day, so it's kind of exciting. Even throughout the day, we get a lot of people that come through, and a lot of adults that actually want to crawl through Eddie. And I think I just saw one of our managers here on her day off climbing through Eddie herself. Kids love to experience real life things just like Mommy and Daddy does, and they see them every day interacting with real life experiences. We have here the Richland County Library, which is a local library branch here in Columbia, and it's an actual active library. So kids can come here, check out books, which is something that's kind of, very specific to Edventure Children's Museum. We also have the neighborhood market. Kids see their parents go into the grocery store every single day and make purchases. This is a great way to see children and figure out how they interact with what their families do. The kids are playing in there. They're actually checking out the groceries. And so it's really bringing home that hands-on experience. But what we love to see even more at Edventure is when our families and our parents and caregivers interact with our children the most. This is probably one of the the most interesting parts of Edventure that I love. Growing up as a kid, I always liked to play make-believe and pretend, and I would sit on the back porch and put my stuffed animals out there and pretend that I was making them all sorts of food, not very healthy, of course. But today we've got to really make sure that we're teaching our kids a lot about health and nutrition and just making the healthy choices. This is our little spot diner, and it connects to our fire station, which you'll see in a few moments. But kids are actually working in the cafe, so they're serving Grandma and Grandpa, which is always great to see. And they, again, another real life experience where they're taking make-believe and pretend and turning it into something more concrete. And we really try to get our families to understand the importance of farm to fork to table. A lot of our kids don't really understand where their food comes from. If you ask my son, when he was younger, and now he knows better, but when he was younger, he would say it comes from the grocery store. It actually doesn't. It actually comes from the farm. And so we try to instill some of those opportunities for our kids to know that our food is grown and it's produced, and then it goes to the grocery store, and then it's put into our local cafes and right on your plate and on your table. So just making the connection and knowing that there's some healthy choices there, and that we have the local farmers that come in and talk about all of the opportunities. Farmville is coming up. That's one of the events that we focus on every year, and it's all about just that, local produce, local farms, local businesses, and what they do for our communities. What do you guys like about Edventure? When you come to Edventure, what's your favorite thing to do? This? What is this? You know what this is?
We sell it to the farm.
We sell it to the farm. That's pretty close. So what do you do with it? You take things and you put it on here and then you sell it to the stores?
Yeah, we put our hand in for nothing.
Absolutely right.
Make sure you leave Edventure in time so that you can visit the South Carolina State Museum located right next door. Okay, and I'm here with Anna Kate at the South Carolina State Museum. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for visiting us today.
Thanks for having us. We're really excited. We've heard a lot of good stuff about this place. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. We are the State's Museum. We are the South Carolina State Museum. We are 4 floors of South Carolina art, natural history, cultural history, and science and technology. We've been open since 1988, and the building you're standing in is actually our largest artifact. It is a former textile mill that operated from the 19th century all the way up until 1980s, and then it converted into the State Museum, and we've been here since 1988. Last August 2014, we went through a major renovation, and we reopened our doors with a brand new planetarium, 4D theater, and an observatory, and this beautiful expanded lobby that you're looking at today. With right behind us, we have the Columbia Visitor Center. They have a remote visitor center right here inside the museum, so you can learn about all the great things happening in our city. You can learn about other attractions in town, where to eat, where to dine, where to sleep. NASA is a big supporter of our museum and of our renovation project. We actually have several astronauts, South Carolina astronauts, including the current administrator of NASA, Charles Bolden. He is actually a Columbia, South Carolina native, and went to C.A. Johnson right here in Columbia. So he came down for our grand opening and helped us open our new facility to the public. We also have a moon rock right here that was brought back by Charles Duke. He is the only South Carolinian to ever walk on the moon and the youngest astronaut to ever walk on the moon. So we're very proud of South Carolina's NASA history and connection and their support of our facility and our mission.
The South Carolina State Museum is 4 floors of education, artifacts, history, and some awesome changing exhibits.
What we're standing in front of right now is our telescope collection. As I mentioned earlier, this is the greatest public collection of early American-made telescopes in the world. This whole row right here are American-made telescopes. We have Barnard telescopes, Alvin Clark telescopes, and we also have Henry Fitts telescope. On the other side, we have European telescopes. In addition to telescopes, we have different types of astronomical equipment, so not just telescopes.
So what kind of experience can one expect coming here?
Absolutely. We have all kinds of experiences for people of all ages. We see children as young as 2-year-olds all the way up to senior groups that come on bus tours. So we have all kinds of activities for children and for adults. We've got a children's play center on the 4th floor. We have all kinds of educational exhibits, history exhibits. We have a current fashion clothing exhibit going on right now. And basically, you're going to have fun. There's so much to do here, and you're going to learn so much about South Carolina. Right here in front of me is the 1926 Alvin Clark telescope, which is the centerpiece of our observatory. This telescope is an amazing piece of equipment. It used to be housed in Columbia University in New York City. It was donated to the museum in 1997, remained in storage for many years, also was on exhibit as an artifact, and up until about a year ago hadn't been turned on since 1997. So if you notice on the telescope, we have several telescopes that we've added to it. We have a deep field finder, we've computerized it, we've added cameras to it. So if you look at this image right in front of me, this is actually the sun in real time, pointing through the solar telescope connected to the Alvin Clark telescope. And you'll see it in black and white, and the reason why it's in black and white is we convert it to that color so you can see finer details. So you can actually see prominences on the sun, you can see sunspots, solar flares, etc. We're now on the 4th floor in the cultural history exhibit of the museum. 4th floor is dedicated to cultural history, one of our disciplines at the museum. Little bit on the back side of the 4th floor is the observatory and the telescope gallery, but the remainder of the 4th floor is cultural history. So you'll explore everything from the Revolutionary War. We have an exhibit on the antebellum society, slavery in South Carolina, the Civil War, all the way up until we have a Jenny's convenience store, we have a schoolhouse, we have a beautiful historic vehicle. So we have a lot here of South Carolina cultural history on the 4th floor. We see a lot of South Carolina students because they study in 3rd grade, they study South Carolina history, and the Hunley is always a very popular exhibit. Kids love to go up and press the button and make the Hunley actually move. So right here we have Threads, the story in our clothing. It's a beautiful exhibit, and it's 200 years of South Carolina history told through clothing and fashion. So it's not your standard history exhibit with a bunch of artifacts, but instead it's clothing that actual South Carolinians wore.
Classy and conveniently located in the middle of it all is the Columbia Marriott Hotel. And you don't have to stay at the Marriott to enjoy great dinner at the Midlands restaurant that is part of the hotel. I'm here with Jeff, the assistant general manager.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. It's good to be here. This restaurant, it seems to be kind of like your pride and joy here.
Absolutely, absolutely. We went through a major renovation here about a year and a half ago, and completely renovated the restaurant, the bar, as well as all our rooms and the public spaces. But yes, there's a lot of pride that we take in our food and beverage area. It's something that we focus on when people come to stay here.
This is what we call our chef sampler plate. It's something that we like to send out to kind of showcase a little bit of the best of what we do here. So starting in this corner, we have our fried chicken and waffles. It's a buttermilk waffle, fried chicken, candied pecans, and a bourbon maple glaze. Then we have our bacon wrapped scallop with a corn salsa and a cilantro vinaigrette, followed by a pork wing with a peach pepper glaze and a Carolina Reaper pepper and honey drizzle. And then this is a fried green tomato with local pimento cheese, local microgreens, and bourbon brine pork belly.
I've been eating a little bit of this this rib. It's very good. It's got a little bit of a kick to it, but there's so much flavor. That's a fried green tomato. You know, I like everything on this plate. And now I'm going to sit down and eat the rest of it.
We've got a southern themed restaurant, so we feature a lot of local products, both food and beverage wise. nice selection of local craft beers from the area, but we take time to use fresh local ingredients, prepare them the right way, and serve them really with a lot of love. And it's like I said, it's not your typical hotel. So this is one of our balcony rooms. We've got a king-size bed in this room. We're up on our 14th floor. This is our concierge level for our elite members with Marriott. All of the rooms on the 14th floor have a walk-in shower, as well as a balcony. Like I said, a king-size bed and a great view of the city. Alright, so this is our presidential suite that we're going to take a look at. Also up on the 14th floor with access to our concierge lounge. The suite, the parlor that we're going to take a look at has connecting rooms on both sides. One with a king bed, one room with 2 doubles so that we can accommodate anybody's needs. So let's go ahead and take a look. Nice comfortable area to be able to hang out. So we've got rooms attached, sleeping rooms attached on both sides of the suite. Over here we've got a wet bar, microwave, and a coffee setup. Full refrigerator as well, so you can entertain if you'd like. We do a lot of receptions up here for some people. When a lot of teams come to town, or entertainers or artists, a lot of them tend to stay up here, so they can do a lot. You've got, again, a great view of the city. We've got a full seating area along with the dining table area, large screen TV. There's also the luxury, there's a bathroom when you first walk in, and then there is also a full bathroom as well in here, along with the rooms that are attached. So this is our concierge lounge here up on the 14th floor. We provide access to a lot of our rewards members to this area. We're open in the mornings at 6 in the morning with a full breakfast buffet up here. We serve that every day, Monday through Friday. And then it is open at night. We do hors d'oeuvres, dinner type snacks. And then it's open throughout the day for our guests to be able to help themselves to drinks and beverages. We also have an honor bar set up with a full wine, liquor, and beer selection, and TVs, and some great couches to lounge on, some great chairs. We've got a computer desk with a printer as well, so you can do any of your business needs up here, and a table where some people can meet if you've got a large group. So it's a great place either to meet or hang out, relax. Again, just another great place for you to enjoy your stay while you're here at the Marriott. We're here for whatever people need. We really want people to come down outside of their rooms, enjoy not only our public space but our great staff, right, and have an experience to take home with them. So at the bar, we feature upscale bourbons, scotches, and whiskeys. We've got quite an extensive collection for a hotel. It's not what you would expect when you come to a hotel bar. And we feature multiple craft beers. All of our tap handles are local craft beers. Our biggest is River Rat Brewery, where I know you guys got to go today, but we are a big fan of them. We support them. That's great. Yeah, we do all we can to really support the local culture and share that with our guests when they come, so they can kind of take a bit of Columbia back home with them, so to say. It's one of our signatures here. It's probably one of our most well-loved entrees. We start with yellow grits. They are local grits from Adela Flour Mill right down the street here in downtown Columbia. And then we do a seared blackened shrimp, and the base of it all is a tasso cream sauce that's got corn, tomatoes, mushrooms, then put some shaved Parmesan on top. And it's just a fantastic dish with lots of levels of flavors. Everybody loves it.
It's very flavorful with the shrimp and the grits and the shrimp again. And see what, it's a very popular dish here, and you should definitely get it if you find yourself at the Midlands Marriott here in South Carolina and Columbia.
The
Columbia Marriott provides rooms with great views and an upscale experience for every traveler on any budget.
Alright, so I'm here with Susan from the Riverbanks Zoo and Garden this morning. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Thank you for having us here.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited. You brought us to a really cool exhibit right now with the giraffe.
That's right. As you might imagine, this is one of our most popular attractions. This is Giraffe Overlook, and from 10 until 1:30 every day, the public has an opportunity to come up onto the deck and feed our giraffes.
That looks like a lot of fun.
It is absolutely a lot of fun. This has been open for several years, but we have, several interactive attractions like this. Another opportunity that folks have to interact with animals is our lorikeet aviary, where they are able to go in with some cups of nectar and feed the lorikeets as well.
That sounds like a lot of fun too.
Hey, how are ya? Doing well?
Great.
Going in? Okay. So this is our lorikeet aviary. This gives visitors, our guests, an opportunity to come in like you're doing here, Brittany, and feed the lorikeets. This also is open daily. And as you can tell, they flock right to you. So a very exciting experience for our visitors. Folks absolutely love this. And they will eat every last drop.
Exhibits in the making.
That's right. We've dubbed it Destination Riverbanks with the idea that we want folks to not only come to Riverbanks Zoo and Garden and experience what all we have to offer, but we also want them to come to the Columbia area and see what other exciting things there is to do around this area. So Destination Riverbanks, we are over halfway through that project. We just opened a couple new exhibits, our Grizzly Ridge and Otter Run, featuring grizzly bears and North American river otters. And then also we opened a brand new entrance. We have a new gift shop, and we are also in the process right now of constructing a 3-acre children's garden in the botanical garden. And we're also in the process of opening Sea Lion Landing, constructing the finishing touches of Sea Lion Landing, which is going to open in the spring of next year. And that's actually going to mimic San Francisco's Pier 39. This is our gorilla exhibit, our gorilla yard, and what we're so excited about is that we have actually brought in a family troupe of gorillas that we actually just introduced to the public a few weeks ago. And so what we're hoping down the line is that we're going to be able to announce soon some baby gorillas here at Riverbanks, which would be the first time in zoo history that we would have baby gorillas here at the zoo. So we brought in a troop of 4, as I was mentioning. We have Sinzu, who is our male silverback. We also have Acacia, Kazi, and Macy, and they are a dynamic group of gorillas.
The zoo is a beautiful place to bring your family for a full-on animal excursion. From penguins to elephants and beyond, you can create your own Riverbanks safari.
This is our Galapagos tortoise yard, and this is actually one of the adventure tours that we offer here at the zoo, where participants can go inside of the yard and meet these animals up close. They are, we believe, more than 100 years old. They came from the Galapagos Islands many years ago, and we've had them for several years here at the zoo. We do have a clutch of youngsters. The first group of 5 was born a few years ago, back in November, and then we just recently had 10 additional babies that were born. And from what we know, that was the first time on record that the mother had actually given birth. And again, quite the achievement, being that we believe she's more than 100 years old.
What else do you guys have here?
Well, we have several different attractions. These 2, as I was just mentioning. Also, we have Sky High Safari, which is our 4-story ropes challenge course. Then we also have a zip line, part of that, which goes over the lower Saluda River. So it's definitely a dynamic experience. But we also have more than 2,000 animals here at the zoo that represent more than 350 species from around the world. So there's always a lot to do, always a lot to see. Very interactive. We definitely want folks to come here and feel like they have had that up-close interactive feel when they leave the zoo.
If you enjoyed this episode of On the Map, visit onthemaptv.com for full episodes, bonus content, and more information on Columbia, South Carolina. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at OnTheMapTV for pictures and updates as we are out on the road.